The book was just found, or this piece?
This was just found, this piece. So it's quite a find, actually.
Where was it found?
Well, it's just in the archives in India.
Oh, in India.
You know, they have so much stuff and they have no idea what it is.
They don't have anyone archiving there?
Yeah.
Yes.
They have people, but the
Years.
people archiving are sort of specializing in the physical preservation, and a lot won't really know what they're
What they're doing, what it is they're doing.
I mean, if it says something like Nerina Machiavelli, and it says Dear Herbert, and it says like 14th April 1934, they'll know it's a letter from Nerina to Herbert Davy in 1934. But a lot of the stuff, you know, you wouldn't have a way of knowing its significance unless you're studying that. So this is such an item. In fact, I could mention this afternoon for anyone so interested. We could read a bit from this. This was, I mean, I'm presuming, but it's surely accurate. This is what Dr. Ghani wrote on basis of dictations from Baba in 1948, maybe 47, I'm forgetting, but I think 48 mostly. Baba started dictating. You know Dr. Ghani, Abdul Ghani Munsiff, one of Baba's close disciples, and the one more than anyone else, I would say, really interested in discourses, and he was Baba's resident Sufi expert. He was a brilliant guy, very knowledgeable about Sufism. And he was the one who would kind of goad Baba into discoursing by saying something outrageous, which would prompt Baba to give a explanation to set him right. And so Baba started dictating stuff to him, and he never finished it. Baba even had him sign a contract that he would finish it by such and such a date. But even that wasn't enough to get him to finish. And then in 49, Baba went on the New Life, and Ghani was one of the companions actually. But Ghani died during the New Life in 51. So in 1952, when he was in the West, Baba had Ghani's manuscript, presumably this, and read through it. And Baba said, half of what I dictated isn't there. So Baba started all over again with Eruch, and that led to God Speaks. So this is a significant work. In fact, the second chapter here, you do know the chapter, The 10 States of God in God Speaks? It's chapter 9. And it says, in God Speaks, you can see it right there, by Eruch Jessawalla. Well, damned if the first draft wasn't by Ghani. It's right here. He wrote the first draft of that. And some of it is word for word the same. So I just got it this last week over Dropbox, so I haven't done more than glance at it myself. So I thought anyone who wanted, we could read some of that. It's kind of a jumble, so some of it's typed, but then has Dr. Duncan went over it and made comments. So you'll say, "Oh, Ghani, you've completely mixed up this and that," all these comments from Duncan to Ghani about it. But it's surely a significant work, and it's 14 chapters. So obviously, Ghani envisioned a really major work.
So that's at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah.
How many pages is it?
I'm not totally sure because what we have is these folders, and you'll have the same thing a couple times in different drafts and stuff. Several hundred pages anyway. A significant, significant work, I'd say. And some of it, at least, is new. I mean, all of it is new writing. I haven't said, but there's some new content, And Ghani was really was a brilliant guy, and had great interest in these things, and was the one who Baba would talk to. Eruch wasn't really interested in things like God Speaks. he was so capable in so many different departments that Baba would go to him and Eruch would be adequate and would do a great job and had the profound understanding. But Eruch wasn't specially interested in that kind of subject matter. But Ghani was. Ghani really was. So anyway, this is a major new thing.
Would it have changed much of your past work? I guess if you haven't read it, you don't know.
No, because most of what I did in the past was from the 1920s, and this is much later. But it does pertain to what the stuff I'm working with now. In fact, in the chapter, The 10 States of God, some of it, the verbiage is exactly the same as the published book. And a lot of it is different. And there's a lot in the published book that doesn't appear to be in Ghani.
Do you think Don and Ivy knew how closely chapter 9 of God Speaks resembled Ghani's original manuscript?
They never mention it, so it doesn't seem so. Yes, in the supplement, they say that Baba had given, I guess, this manuscript to them, saying, use what you think is of value. So some parts of the supplement of God Speaks are apparently drawn from here. Very little. I mean, actually, they say the supplement is by Ghani, but when you read through it, most of it, quite obviously, is not. It's, like various other things. But some of it must be. A long section on Tawhid and things like that must be from Ghani.
And the fact that Eruch wrote chapter 9, he didn't ever impress upon others how much he drew from Ghani's manuscript?
He never mentioned it that I know of. In fact, Gary said that he was sitting with Eruch and said, Eruch, well, since you're the author of the chapter, The 10 States of God, and Eruch didn't seem to know that. So Eruch brought him the book. And Eruch looked at it and he said, well, mine was the hand that wrote. So I don't know, probably Eruch wasn't getting into it, but he must have had this, clearly.
Do you think Baba may have told Eruch not to let on that they were just plagiarizing Ghani left, right and center?
I mean, yeah, I would guess Baba said, you just put your name on it. That would be my guess. And so Eruch did, and that was the end of it, because Eruch simply didn't care about things like that. But now it comes out that Ghani was the original writer used. But that's just one chapter out of many. Most of them don't look like they're direct. We'll read some this afternoon, and you guys can see what you think. Anyway.